What do you do with your eyes when you lift weights? Have you ever thought about that? It's very important. Your eyes are your relationship to the surface upon which you are standing or interacting. They control your balance. All right, when you go out into the garage and pick up a box of junk off the middle of the garage floor, where do you look? Without thinking about it, you look at the floor in front of the box. And then as you pick it up and it's picked up, then your eye gaze will move to the place you're going to go when you're carrying all these parts around, okay? But when you pick it up, you're looking at the floor. All right, now one of the dumbest things that's ever occurred is the development of powerlifting. Now has some guy standing behind the deadlifter on the platform in case he falls backwards. Do you know why he falls backwards? Because he's looking at the ceiling when he deadlifts. And the ceiling is not a reliable reference for your position. You look at the floor. Now on the bench press, it's different. On the bench press, you're looking at the ceiling. Let's assume you're not training at Muscle Beach. That'd be real hard to do. If you're not watching the ceiling very closely, you don't have a stationary reference for the bar path, right? So you take the bar out of the rack, all right? You get set up, you get your shoulders pushed back together, your shoulder blades adducted, you get your feet pushing against the floor, shoving your chest up into that elevated position. And then you look at the ceiling. You stare at a point on the ceiling. You do not look at the bar as it moves. You do not look at the moving bar. You look at the stationary ceiling. Because if you do that, the bar will move into a position relative to the point at which you are staring on the ceiling. Now this is terribly important. This is a terribly important thing for you to do in order to not have the bar go somewhere where you don't want it to be during the bench press. You stare at the ceiling, and the ceiling is the stationary reference point, just like the floor is for the squat, and the floor a little further out is for the deadlift. Okay? Learn to find that point on the ceiling and stare at it every time you bench press. The same is true for the press, by the way. You're looking straight forward on the press. And that's kind of one of the reasons it's easier to press if you're closer to a wall than if the wall is all the way across the room. Because that stationary reference is very, very important anytime you're moving a barbell. And the heavier the load gets, the more critical your ability to fix your gaze on that point and keep it there becomes. Try to think about this. This is a terribly important little thing about the bench press and the press, and for that matter, the squat and the deadlift, that's often neglected. Eye gaze is very, very important on all these movement patterns.